Okay, so there is a couple things that I have to get on here and I have to speak about it because it's something that not only bothers me, but it gets me to the point where I have to get on here and I have to talk about it because I feel as though there is this huge lack of understanding in this world with most people. And if people do not hear these kinds of things, then they're never going to know about these kinds of things. This is why when you come on a platform like mine, I am going to be. It's not that I want you to take me so seriously to the point where you think that I'm so uptight and like I'm trying to get you to be in a cage and be just like I want you to be. It's not like that. It's when you know things for yourself, unto yourself, and you see how so many things today in this world that people are talking about, the things that they do, the way that they go about doing whatever they do, it's all ass backwards. It's all ass backwards. And I want to give you an example of what I mean by this being ass backwards, like things being ass backwards. I hear so many things, like I can't get into specific things off the top of my head, but everybody says about how you have to break your addictions, and when you go from one addiction you'll go to another addiction, and this is a problem. It's not a problem to have an addiction if you can be responsible for the addiction that you have. Now, when we're talking about addictions like drug addiction, like heroin addiction, crack cocaine addiction. I even know some people. I have known people that they are crack addicts that when they get money, they will spend the money. And I'm talking about people I knew a long time ago. These people ain't in my life anymore. I don't know them. I don't know what they're doing today. I'm just saying I know people like this. So it can really happen. It's just all depends on what the individual does with themselves. But I have known crack addicts that when they got money, they paid their rent, they dressed however, they dressed normal, they had enough money for food, they took care of themselves, but when they had extra money, they had an addiction to cocaine and they would do cocaine. But it wasn't like they were so out of control that they were stealing from other people and they were out hurting people or doing all these crazy things. Now, there are very, very few, and I have known heroin addicts that they could get the drug. When I used to be a heroin addict, they would get the drug and they would take just enough to where they were not on E, that they weren't sick, and they could do it, and then they could sell the drug. Now, I'm not condoning to be a drug addict. I'm not condoning that, but I'm not condemning it either. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is what so many people either condemn or condone something. I don't condemn drug addiction and I don't condone drug addiction. I have known heroin addicts that they can take just enough to where they're not sick, and they can do it to where they're not out stealing, they're not out hurting other people, they're not out doing anything malicious to get the drug. You see, they're selling it to other people that want to do it too because that's the choice they make. But listen, it's not even, I didn't really want to use drugs as an example, but it's just like with anything. We all see sex as a vice. We all see eating certain things as a vice. It's not a vice unless you are eating something like a sugary thing all the time, every day, and that's all you eat is sweet stuff. Then you have a problem because you're going to, sugar is what creates cancer. Sugar is not good for you. Sugar rots your teeth. Sugar is just not good for the human body. But we need some sugar. So, see, it's most people, the reason they have addictions like this is because they have no discipline. They don't know how to discipline themselves. They don't know when enough is enough. They don't know when to say, okay, I've been doing this too much. And see, these are the people that need to be reminded that they have an addiction. You see what I'm saying? Now, even with me, I will give you an example with me. Once in a while, I will buy Turkey Hill peanut butter cup chocolate peanut butter cup ice cream, and I will kind of go all out and I will eat the whole tub in a day. And I will do that once in a blue moon. But if I was eating chocolate peanut butter cup Turkey Hill ice cream every day, I would have a problem because I would gain weight. I'd probably be getting headaches because when I eat too much sugar, I get headaches. And it just goes to show you that people that say about these vices, all that it is they are not disciplined people. They don't know when enough is enough. And it's just like people that say porn is a bad thing. It's so bad to watch porn. No, it's bad if you can't control your urges because you have no discipline and you are spanking your monkey 4 or 5 times a day. Of course, you might have a problem because you might, I don't know, hurt your testicles. You might get a hernia. I don't know. Something can happen. But there is nothing wrong with having a time. If you are a horny person, you can watch somebody that, is someone in the sex industry. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just, this is for people that don't have any discipline. People that don't know how to check themselves are people that need to be reminded of it all the time. See, they are the ones that have a problem because they're not checking themselves. You see what I'm saying? Someone like me, I have checked what I was doing as a person, and I don't see anything wrong with sex. I don't see anything wrong with treating myself once in a while with sugary food. Now, me, I don't eat animal meat anymore because I don't want to contribute to the suffering of animals. I made that decision. Whatever anybody else does, they're going to keep doing. That's none of my business. But it really, it kind of pisses me off because I hear people talking about this because they're ignorant on the subject, and what it comes down to is they're using the ignorance of other people to profit off of them. See, they're using your ignorance to profit off of you. They're saying things like, oh, well, you're addicted to this thing because of this. And no, it's just because they won't tell you. It's because you don't have any discipline. It's because you have no self-control. It's because you are the problem. But see, they won't tell you that because that's not what the uncontrollable, undisciplined, out of control person want. They don't want to hear that. See, when they hear that, then they're going to go, oh, well, I don't want to hear what this guy has to say because he's not doing anything to help my addiction. when the only person that can make you see that, okay, enough is enough and I need to slow down, or this is too much, I'm out of control. See, that's up to the individual person to sit with themselves and to work this out themselves. It all has to do with self-reflection and looking at yourself on these issues. And the more that I listen to people talk about these things, and as time goes on, it's everything is just ass backwards. Everybody has everything misconstrued, just completely. They don't even understand oppositions. They don't even understand how contradicting they really are and how they stick up for one side of something, and they never ever give credit to the other side of something. See, that's why I know that I have a knowledge of how contradictions are literally the truth of everything. This one-sidedness is actually something that most people, their whole lives, they're one-sided individuals, and they never give the other side of something a chance. You know, they're either, oh, I'm such a righteous person and I can do no wrong. But then they have something, there's some hypocrisy there that they hide away from people. And then when it all comes out in the end, and everyone says, oh, I thought he was such a good man and he was so righteous. He went to church every week and he was so nice and he helped the community and all this, but then he ends up being some, I don't know. I really don't even want to say the words that I'm going to say, but then he ends up being some monster or somebody that's doing something horrible to people. You know what I'm saying? But all along, if you would have had discipline and you would have been able to control when you're doing too much or not anything, it's like if you are somebody that is horny per se, there is nothing wrong if you do the thing. It's just when you do it too much, that's when it becomes a problem. You understand? And it's just, I hear so many people that just do not understand. They constantly, it's like people that are negative about everything. They act like they hate everything. They act like everything that they know they're negative about, or everything they do is dark. But then when they're not on camera, when they're away from people, when they're not around people, you know, they do these things the opposite of that, but then they act like they don't. You see, they act like they're not, like they don't have that naughty side to them, like they don't have that kind of animalistic side to them. And what I say is, yes, we are all animals. We all have that naughty side to us. Come on, let's not fool ourselves here. We're all naughty by nature. But I'm not hiding either one of those sides. I'm not hiding the way that I am sexually, or I'm even on something myself that I take, but I don't abuse it. Do you see? I don't abuse the prescription drug that I take. I take just enough to where I can function, and it's enough, because if I wanted to, I could take a lot more of it. I could abuse it if I wanted to, but I don't do that because I have disciplined myself not to do that. See, I could have made the choice to abuse it, but I didn't. And this is the problem that you have with most people in this world, is that first off, they have no discipline, they have no discernment, they have no self-control, they don't know when enough is enough, They don't even realize when they're being stupid and ignorant. And like I said in the last video that I just did, that I just uploaded, I don't have a problem with weird people. I don't have a problem with people. I don't even have a problem with people that do Pornhub or that express themselves however they do, as long as they're not being stupid or ignorant or hurting somebody else or causing unnecessary suffering. I don't care what they do. If they can be responsible, if they can keep under wraps what they do and they're not out of control and they're not hurting someone or harming someone else while doing it, I don't care what they do. I could care less what they do. You see what I'm saying? And it goes with every single person. You have to understand both sides of yourself. If you don't understand both sides of yourself, if you don't understand the yin yang, if you don't understand that you are both naughty and nice, if you don't understand that you are literally the epitome of polar opposition, if you don't understand that, then more than likely you are going to be one of these one-sided individuals that you don't understand why you listen to these people telling you why you're addicted, or here's a book to help you get motivated and all this shit. Like, you should know that advice, that nobody can give you life advice for yourself but yourself. You see, if you're not checking you today, nobody's going to check you. A book is not going to check you. Some guru is not going to check you. Some person you look up to and idolize is not going to check you. Somebody on YouTube or online is not going to check you. Your family's not going to check you. Nobody's going to check you but you. And this is why I get pissed off with people, because they hide behind jargon. See, they won't confront you because they really don't care. They act like they care. They come in the name of this softness and this soft language. This is what George Carlin used to always talk about. Everything's hidden behind jargon. Everybody comes with this soft language and they try to act like they care and all this, and they don't really care. They don't confront you. They don't tell you anything about yourself. They don't come at you at all. They don't tell you anything new. It's just the same old monotonous graveyard shit that you heard a million times before. And that's why people like that, they don't change anything, because mediocre stays the same. You see, trivial shit is being spread every day by people. Trivial, nonsensical stuff that has been said and done a million times, and then we wonder why we can't evolve as people, why there's really nothing new and everybody's depressed, because there's nobody that has the ability to stop being a monotonous coward in this world. You see, it's like you've got to challenge your brother and your sister and people you know. You have to challenge people. You have to kind of get on people. You have to hold people accountable for why they are the way they are. Because if you don't, more than likely the people that don't know that they're that way, they'll never know how they're being until someone comes along with knowledge and understanding, and someone who has been looking into things and learning things and observing things and being honest with themselves and reflecting on themselves and looking at themselves and calling themselves out. Until you have that, then you're going to have individuals that are in denial of what it is that they are causing themselves for themselves. You see, if it's always this thing where you're just telling people something they already know, then there's nothing going on. It's just stale, stagnant, monotonous things that is already known, and we're not really learning anything. So this is why me as a person, I really have zero tolerance right now as a person for unintelligent people. I have zero tolerance for stupidity and ignorance. I have zero tolerance for someone that tries to tell me things that they have these low standards for life. They have these absolutely low standards, and when you're someone that has high standards, then they start saying, "Oh, well, you think you're better than me because you have these higher standards." No, it's because I care for myself. I respect myself. I want the best for myself while I'm here. I want to better this life while I'm here. As long as we're just negative people and we see everything negatively and we just keep talking down on ourselves and we keep remaining to do the same things over and over again, and we don't learn from anybody. We don't look into things. We just right away, when something's not going our way, right away we get infuriated, or we snap, or we hate the person because we don't understand them or we don't understand something. And this is what a fool does. A fool gets angry at something they don't understand. Why not understand it for yourself? You see, really, it's kind of like having zero tolerance for people that they blame everyone but themselves for what they do. They point the finger at everybody else but themselves. See, it's never this self-reflecting thing. It's never this thing where they're checking themselves, where they're taking a look at, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep having these same feelings over and over and over and over and over again? Why do you think that that keeps happening? Why do you think that you keep going through these same kind of emotions, these same programmed emotions that you've been conditioned by, that people have told you, "Oh, well, if you don't do this, you're not enough," and just all that stuff. When you realize that this is all a part of the programmed and conditioned brain, you will literally look at this stuff and you will either chuckle or you will let it go. You'll say, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not important to me as a person. And in order to do that, this only comes by knowledge. You have to have knowledge and understanding to understand everything. Because if you're still questioning, see, it's almost like, it's very simple. If you are still questioning things, then that means that you do not know. So people that still have a ton of questions, these are people that you know do not know. So when you're in certain situations, when you start talking about certain things and they don't know things and then you do know, then comes the blame game. Then comes them playing the victim because you know and they don't know because they didn't take the time to look into stuff. And then you're somehow the enemy because you took the time to know for yourself. You see, you're somehow the bad guy. You're somehow, oh, you're just trying to be better. You think you're better. You think, oh yeah, you're just trying to look better than me. No, it's because I have high standards. I have high standards for myself. I don't stoop down to this low level of stupidity and ignorance and foolishness and just blatant, dumb, stupid things just to do it because everybody's doing it, just to be gullible, just to be naive, just to say, okay, everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it too. This is what unintelligent people do. They do these kinds of things. Now, me getting off into this subject, me speaking about this all comes hand in hand with one another. The video that I just did about being insecure and trying to be something you're not, trying to always be something for other people. This all comes from the programmed mind. Until you can get that in your head, in your own mind, that all of these, the reason why you're feeling like you're inadequate, feeling like you're not enough, or because you don't have, I don't know, some good looking woman or something, that you're a failure or you did something wrong and all this stuff. That is all a part of the programmed mind. See, if you're falling for those things, you're literally falling for a program. You're literally falling for something that you were told when you were younger, and you just believed it because you were supposed to look up to those people. You were supposed to look at those people like, those are the people I want to follow. When really, all that it is those people that you looked up to, they were lied to. They were told a bunch of nonsense. They were told a bunch of things to make them think, to make them believe, to make them think that they got to be a certain way and they have to accomplish all this stuff. But yet there's a conundrum in this. You see, there's a contradiction in this. See, that's one part of it. But then on the other part, see, this is where it's going to seem hypocritical. Don't you want to be different? Don't you want to live a better life for yourself while you're here? Even if you didn't want to be here. Even if you are someone that hates life. Really, really think about what I'm saying here. You hate life because you keep going by the thing in your mind telling you, well, I didn't want to be here in the first place. And you have this addiction of you keep putting yourself in that spot to keep blaming and projecting and saying, well, I didn't want to do this in the first place. And I don't want to get too deep with this because I can't tell another person what to think or how to live. I'm just saying, in all reality, I am actually an optimist for real, if I'm being truthful. I just speak about things that seem negative because I got to get stuff off of my chest. But see, a lot of people out here in the world, they have been speaking negatively back onto themselves for so long. They have been telling themselves these things for so long. They have been going by the programmed mind for so long. They have been telling themselves that I will never do anything in life. I'm a failure. I can never be this. I can't do this. You've been telling yourself that for so long that you believe them thoughts. You believe them thoughts that they are absolutely true for yourself. And what I'm telling you here is you do not need to keep believing your thoughts. If you want to change your thinking patterns and you are tired of thinking the way you do, and you are tired of being miserable, and you are tired of hating life, and you are tired of all these things, You can change that if you want to. You can renew your mind if you want to. If you really do, you can do that. And nobody can stop you but you. Nobody. You can create a new world for yourself if you want to create that. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Listen, when I do these videos, don't ever look at me like I am a motivational speaker. Don't ever look at me like I'm a teacher or I'm someone trying to disciple you into something or I'm trying to force you to be a certain way. I am just telling you, if you are like, I am sick and tired, I'm done, I am not living like this anymore, you can make the decision to not live that way anymore. You can do that if you truly want to do that. Because what I say to everybody, in the next 100 years, none of us are going to be here anyway. We're all going to be gone in the next 100 years. So what I say is, live this motherfucker to the fullest. But be responsible. Do what you want to do. Have a freaking blast. As long as you're not hurting, as long as you're not stealing, as long as you're not out of control, as long as you have self-control, you can be weird. You can be different. You can even, if you want to act up a little bit, as long as you're not, like I said, as long as you are not hurting anybody or hurting anything else, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And people's views and opinions of you, it doesn't matter. Because they cannot live your life. They can't live your life. So what I say is, what are we waiting for here? What do you think is coming? Like, and this is not, yet again, I'm not forcing anybody. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything that they're not going to do, because you're either going to do something or you're not, or you're either going to go this way or that way. I have no idea what other people do. I can only lead my own destiny here. I can only do what I can do for myself while I'm here. And are there days where I'm miserable? Yes, there are days where I am absolutely miserable. There are days where I am under the weather and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I get tired of this monotonous shit. But that's all that I hear from everybody else is, it's always about the same monotonous thing. And there is nobody that thinks about, okay, well, I feel like this, but how about doing something productive? How about building something? How about creating something for myself? How about changing my mind and the way that I think? How about doing something outside of the box that nobody's doing? You see, nobody ever thinks about those things. It's always just, oh, well, that's the way that it is. This is what you hear from people. Oh, well, that's just the way things are. No, that's a cop-out. That's an excuse to stay in the same monotonous shit and then complain and bitch about the same monotonous shit. And that's just the truth. And as I'm speaking on here, I'm speaking to myself, and I'm literally pointing the finger at myself and telling myself this too. I'm not saying that I have, that I'm really building anything right now. I can't say that I'm really doing too much of anything, but yet I am doing some things. I'm sitting here, I make music every day, I write every day, I get more intelligent every day, I'm looking into things every day, I look up words and what they mean, and I look into, what's going on with the planets and the earth and all kinds of stuff. It ain't like I don't do anything, I'm not saying that I'm the smartest in some areas, but that's not for me to be smart in some areas. I have where I belong is where I belong, and I know where I belong. I know what I'm best at, and I know what I'm really not that interested in. Yet there's some things that I might not be as interested in, but yet I'm still interested in them. So anyway, what am I saying with this whole video? I'm not on here to prove anything. I'm not on here to act like I'm getting ahead or that the world is going somewhere, because it's not. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not proving nothing. Nothing's really happening. And I think that is the beauty in the message that I speak, is because I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not on here to prove anything to you. I don't go by any ideology. I don't say that I'm one thing over the next, because I am. I'm a complete contradiction. I'm an absolute contradiction. I love sex, yet I don't promote certain things that will take it overboard with certain aspects. I promote drugs, but yet I condemn people that are doing crazy shit in the name of getting those drugs. You see what I'm saying? There's always the part that I condone and condemn, but yet I condone and condemn it on the other side of the scale too, if that makes sense. So I condemn things and I condone them, but with each one of them, I know the thing that I'm condemning is something that is either bad for myself or another person, or it's pushing something too far, or it's going to lead into a place where I know it leads into because I've already been there. I've already done it. And I'm telling you so that you don't have to do that to yourself like I did. And then the things that I condone are things that they are my choice. I can make that choice as long as I'm not out of control, as long as I'm responsible, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, as long as I'm not forcing anything that I know upon anybody else, my beliefs, my subjective reality. As long as I'm not forcing that on anybody else, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. You see, this whole thing, you'll realize it does not matter. The only thing that is real is the objective reality of everything. That is what you need to go by, is the reality of the objective reality. And your subjective reality, that's just your views, your opinions, what you think of other people, how you judge things, the way you see the world. All that is subjective. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's what I can say right now is the most important thing for an individual person is solitude, knowledge, understanding themselves, and studying how everything is, why everything is, how everything is, and getting into that, because I think the first thing that you must do is you must question everything here. You must question everything. And if I'm being honest too, I think you need to be broken down. I think that you need to be crushed. I think that you need to be absolutely broken, squeezed to a pulp until there is no juice left. Like if you squeeze an orange until the juice stops dripping. I think that that needs to happen to a person, because I think you need to get your pride and your ego and your self-delusions and your denial of things. I think you need to get that absolutely crushed and broke before you can understand the polar opposition of that. You see, it can't just be all heaven, because if it was all heaven, then you wouldn't understand the other things that are lowly, that cause a lot of these things. And then if you didn't understand the pit and the darkness and the depression and the misery and the bad things and why we do bad things, then we wouldn't know what epiphany is. We wouldn't know what it is to do the right thing. So it's always this conundrum going on. It's always this contradiction going on. And the more you see that, and the more you come to these realizations, I call them realizations. I have had so many realizations in the past couple years that the more that you have, the less that you will have over time, because you're looking into so much stuff. You're asking so many questions. You're watching so many different things. You're not judging one thing over the other. You're looking at one thing honestly and you're looking at another thing honestly, and you're not just saying, okay, just because I don't like this thing, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Oh no, I'm having nothing to do with that. I'm blocking it out and I'm staying in denial of that thing. See, right there, you literally became a one-sided person again. You're literally blocking out the whole of this spectrum, and you refuse to see the whole spectrum. And this is why you don't understand the whole spectrum, because you will not accept the whole spectrum. You will not look into the whole spectrum. You will not stop judging the one thing over the next. And then we wonder why we have all these questions and we don't know. And then when things happen, we wonder why they happen, how they continue to happen. This ever revolving door. You know, when you hear something on the news, oh, somebody else shot and murdered, people killed, oh, this happened, that happened. You know, it's just the same monotonous ball of stuff. You know, oh, here comes Christmas again. Here comes Thanksgiving again. And, you know, whatever. And I don't have nothing against being thankful. I'm just saying it's this repetitive, monotonous reality that we keep replaying, and we keep doing the same things. And this is why humans, we can't evolve in our thinking. We're not evolving with our thinking because we're not thinking different. We're not thinking outside of the box. We're too worried about the approval of everybody else. We're too worried about what our neighbor's going to think of us if we do something different. We're too worried about what our family and friends, oh, they're going to think of me this way if I do this thing. If I start doing this thing and I change how I am, then they're going to say, oh, you changed up. You're not the same person you were. Of course, I'm not going to be the same person over time. I'm going to change. That's what happens when you're evolving your thinking, when you're not caught up on the same things. And it's like people just don't get this. And they're horrified to change. They're terrified. They're in fear. They're insecure about all this programmed shit in their mind. But this is something you have to do too. You have to decondition your mind in order to understand these things. If you have this programmed stuff blocking all of that stuff, then it's never going to get in here for you to understand. See, once you decondition your mind from all this bullcrap and nonsense that's been put in this freaking little thing here, the brain, and you understand how that came in here. You understand how other people got those thoughts and how that came into their reality with what they think is reality, but it's not reality. It's just thoughts. It's things that they make you think you have to do or think you have to be. And until you can get that, then you're never going to start self-reflecting. See, there's very few self-reflectors in this world. There's very few people that are willing to admit that they are the reason that everything happens in their life. There's very few people that are willing to look back at themselves and say, yeah, it was my fault at one time for why I created this reality that I'm living. It's my fault why I'm coughing because I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. it's my fault why I'm 350 pounds because I'm eating tasty cakes and beef patties and cheeseburgers and Wendy's and McDonald's and all along, that person, they don't care anything about the animals. People just do not care. And then they do all this crazy stuff. And then they say that they're good people. They're good people and they care. And then they act nice to you. And don't you see, it's all a lie. It's all a lie, y'all. Wake up. Wake up. You're under a delusion, a spell, a lie. It's trickery going on here. And until you wake up and you see how programmed and conditioned and indoctrinated and how you've been literally put under this spell of, it's like a brainwashing. We've all been brainwashed. I've been brainwashed into things. We've all been brainwashed with something, whether we want to admit that or not. But until you see that and you decondition your mind, and then you start looking back at yourself and you start breaking down all of the things that you have created, that I have created. See, I've already done this. I can't do this much more than what I have because I've already done it. That's what I've been doing the last 13, 14, 15 years of my life. I have been doing this. I have been looking into why am I this way? How did I do this? Why did I do this? What was the reason I did this thing? And I've looked into every little nook and cranny for myself. And the thing is I created it. I created this world for myself. I created all of this stuff for myself. I'm the one that allowed myself to get out of control. I'm the one that took things too far. I'm the one that wasn't seeing certain things because I was in denial and I was ignorant and I was stupid and I was dumb and I was just a complete idiot. I was a complete unintelligent, dim-witted idiot. That's what I was. Now, have you admitted that to yourself yet? Have you taken a look at this? Have you even begun to even look at it? Have you even begun to admit that it's there? Have you even told yourself that, damn, I need to take a look at me today? I mean, there's some people that they haven't even begun this process. And to me, that's a scary thing. That's terrifying, knowing that some people are still living in this way where they're just projecting everything that's going on in here, all the program stuff, onto other people. And it's other people why they are the way they are. It's the world, the reason why they do what they do. It's society that made me do it. It's the shadow people. It's the demons in my life. It's the devil that tempted me to do these things. No, 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 no. That is all lies. That is all shadow projecting. This is what did it. This did it. And this is why me as a person, I have zero tolerance for people that do not have this understanding. I'm not going to force them to be anything. I'm not going to force them to do anything. I'm not going to force them to be how I am or think like I do, but I have zero tolerance for people that refuse to understand this. I have zero tolerance for people that want to remain in denial of certain things. I have zero tolerance for people that get online and they're trying to sell you some bullshit product or bullshit book giving you advice on how to break your addictions, how you can be a better person, how you can do this and that, and I can do this thing, and you can do this ritual, and you can get these things to do this. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit until you look at yourself, until you get honest with you, until you look at this thing totally, absolutely, completely, without a doubt, and you quit bullshitting yourself, then you're going to remain in this state of a programmed mind, blaming everybody, pointing the finger, criticizing, judging, blaming everything else for why you do what you do, for what you've created yourself, that you have the ability to change if you want. You see? And if you go back to that, whose fault is it? Oh, it's their fault, right? It's everybody else's fault, right? And I think if you're someone that you tolerate these things, then you have very low standards. You just don't care about anything. You just say, oh, well, that's the way it is. That's the way we've been doing things for so long. And that is an excuse. It's bullshit. It's lazy. It's inconsiderate. It's just saying, oh, well, there's nothing I can do at all. That's just the way it is. So this is how it's going to be. And to me, I have zero tolerance for that kind of thinking. I have zero tolerance for that kind of thinking at all. And I have very high standards for myself, but yet I can't count on other people. I can't rely on other people. I can't think that other people are going to live up to the same standards as what I do. I can't expect people to do that because I can't make another human being do as I wish. You know, I can't do that. That's where I'm powerless over the situation. And even that word is cringy to people that don't want to accept the truth of how reality really is. The word powerless does not even come in the vocabulary of people that don't want to understand how powerless we really are here, yet we still have a decision to make. We can still change the way we think. We can still do something about our situation is what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean you need to have money. It doesn't mean you need to be rich. It doesn't mean you need to be some famous person. It's just the little things, the tiniest little things that you can start changing, that you can look at, that you could take a brutal, honest look at, and you can say, okay, I've been doing this for so long, and I'm so sick and tired of this. Why does this keep happening? How do I keep getting myself in this? Why? See, this is where the denial is stopping them from realizing. The denial is like a stronghold. It's like a stronghold in their life. It's kind of like a metaphorical kindred spirit that is just keeping them glued. It's keeping them paralyzed because they won't make the move to say enough is enough with this. Now, in saying all this, can I stop us from getting old? No. Can I stop us from dying? No. Can I help the fact that we are powerless over so many things? No, I can't help that. All I'm saying is while we are still alive, while we are here, we don't have any other choice anyway. The next 100 years, we're going to all be gone. This is all going to be gone, and this ain't going to exist, and I'm not going to exist, and you're not going to exist. I'm not going to be speaking. Someone might be listening to my video, and this is for them. This is for that person that's listening. I'm telling you, the time that you have, you are the creator of your reality. You can create your own world here. But most of us, we live in such fear. We let the programmed mind tell us everything to do. We let the thoughts of other people, our family, and what they think about us determine what we're doing, the way we go, the decisions we make. If we say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, Some people say, well, I can't do anything because of what these people think, or because my family wouldn't approve of it, or because I'm too worried that I'm going to look like the black sheep out of all the white sheep if I do something different. And that kind of mindset, it's fear. It's fear. It all comes down to fear. It all comes down to an unwillingness to stop being a coward and to say, look, I'm not going to do this anymore. I mean, what is it going to take for some people to see that? Yet at the same time, I know for me, I have let go. I have given up. I have surrendered to it all because fighting is stupid. Fighting is a stupid game. It's a stupid game that stupid people do. Because what is fighting doing? That ain't doing nothing. What's fighting gonna do? That's all it's gonna do is destroy, hurt, corrupt. That ain't doing nothing. That ain't gonna make my life better, fighting people. But what I do fight for, if anything, and I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about in the world, the unseen world. I'm talking about the energy world. I'm talking about the metaphorical spiritual world that people can't see. I fight for what is the truth that hurts, the truth that people don't want to hear, the things that you get to the point with, things that confront a situation, things that are brutally honest. Because if you're not doing that, then what are you doing? If you're not being brutally honest, then what are you doing? You're lying, the opposite. If you're not telling the truth, then you're spewing lies. If you're not being upfront with people, then you're hiding behind jargon. If you're soft-talking everybody, you're hiding how you really feel about things. And doing that, it's stupid. It's dumb. All it does is it just builds up. It just builds up this resentment. It builds up this hatred. It builds up this dynamite stick ready to blow because you can't even be honest with yourself and other people. And it's so simple, it's so easy, but yet we let fear, we let the programmed mind, we let the thoughts of other people, we let all these things be the outcome of us not stepping out of this box, this monotonous box that we've been in our whole lives. And we won't step out of it. And that's why nothing's ever different. It's why everybody goes, oh, well, it's just the way it is. That's just the way that life is. Yeah, with a lot of things, that is the way that life is. I'm not saying that with certain things, that's not the way that life is. Yeah, with certain things, that is the way that it is. But what I mean is, how are we ever going to evolve our thinking or evolve into having a true, a clear understanding of this whole entire thing, yet making something of it while we're still here? And I would highly advise, if you're looking to listen to a very intelligent man, a man that is very brutally honest with when he speaks, I would highly suggest listening to Arthur Arcturus. I have his videos on my community. I have his channel is on my subscriber channel. But listen, I am literally obsessed with this man. I listen to this guy every day because he's intelligent. He has been there and done it. He is someone that calls things out, even when people don't want to hear it. He's someone that is brutally honest. He is someone that says things that other people don't say because they're scared to say it, but they know deep down inside that it's for real. They know that it's real. They know that it's the truth. They know that it's honest, yet they run from it. They deny. And it even says, you will be hated. You will be hated for the truth. You will be hated for being honest. You will be hated by people. And this is so stupid when you think about it, because why don't we understand that a lie is manipulation? Don't we understand that these are only things that are going to hurt us and destroy us and bring us more suffering and pain? Do we not understand this? Like, why can we not get this? How many times does someone have to tell people that just don't want to say, okay, you know what? I was wrong about things. I didn't know. But see, our pride can't let us do that. Our sense of we know everything, we're right, can't let us do that. Our stubbornness can't let us do that. Our sense of the ego that I am the most important thing here, I'm all that matters. Yeah, you do matter while you're here, but you are not all that matters. We're not that special. We're unique and we're different. And like I said, I condone being unique. I condone being authentic. I condone being different. I condone those things. But I condemn saying that we're special and that everybody's a winner here, and talking this fake lingo, this hidden behind jargon talk. It's just, it should disgust you. If it doesn't disgust you, then you're really not out of the slumber. You're really not seeing this, because this should be something that makes you feel better when you listen to it. If you feel worse, that's even better. If you feel worse, that's even better, because that means that someone is telling you something that you don't hear that much, because they won't tell you. They won't tell you this, because deep down, they really don't know. They might care. I'm not saying that most people don't care, but deep down, they don't know, because they're in denial. They don't look into these things. They don't understand these things. And really, it's their fault, but at the same time, it's not their fault, because no one's teaching them. No one's telling them about this. Nobody's talking about this stuff. So how are people going to know about it? You can't know about something until you hear it and you listen to it. Not hear it, until you listen to it and let it resonate. You have to let it germinate in you. Let it germinate in you. Literally let it just sink in and stay there. And even if it makes you feel off, then that is a good thing. You want to feel that way. You want to almost feel broken. You want to feel like you've been stirred up, like you've been shaken, like this. That's how you want to feel. If you don't feel like that, then really nobody's telling you anything, because what you're used to, you're comfortable with. And what you're not used to, you're not comfortable with. But the uncomfortability is what causes the effect. It's what causes the change. It's what causes you to think outside the box. It's what has a chain reaction into inspiring something that is dead within you. And I look for this. I look for this everywhere. And it's very, very hard to find today, because people are not willing. People are not willing. But then again, as I'm saying, people are not willing. People are also not willing to let go of the stupid stuff. They're not willing to just give up on trying to be something they're not. See, this might be hard to understand for people that are still in the programmed mind of how the world has conditioned you to be. And I can't expect people to understand this in one video. I can't expect that, because I'd be a fool to expect that. I would be the ignorant one to expect that. But the people that do know, this should... I'm not trying to give you hope. I'm simply being honest with you. See, this is something that should carry you along in this life a little bit better because I don't give people hope. I don't give people false hope. I don't tell people that everything's going to be all right and there ain't going to be no problems. You're lying to people when you say that to them. You're lying right to them when you say that. So if you're someone that got something from this video, please help support the channel. It helps. Sometimes I need that help, and it lets me know that you're listening. It lets me know you're listening. And thank you, David K. Thank you, Tyler B. And anyone before you that has donated to my platform. I appreciate it. I'm going to end it on that. And if you don't donate or help support on my PayPal, then at least like the video. Share the video. Share the video. If you got something from this, then share it to another person. That's the problem too. We don't share stuff enough. We're not a sharing people because I don't think we're a caring people anymore. We need to start caring and sharing and letting things be known, because if we don't do that, then people are not going to know. And I don't mean to sound so sarcastic and stuff, but it's just the way that I do videos. I can't help it. It's just the way that I do things. So with that, take care of yourself because you're the only one that can take care of yourself. You're the only one that can see these things. You're the only one that can change the way you think. You're the only one that can do anything about anything. It's you.